Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the third international webinar. We are looking forward for other participants to join. As soon as they join, we will start the session. I hope everybody has received the details about the session and will be starting shortly. Thank you.
Good morning, Jyoti ma'am.
Good morning, Ratinder. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Hello, Manjeet ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, Rupinder ma'am.
Hi, Ratinder madam. Now I got Ratinder. How are you? And this is
Hi, Jyoti ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. आप कैसे?
Pleasure to see you
So-
again.
দেখছো নি কত দিয়ে আইছে লাভ রেট আইছে এইটা আমি দিছি ওই যে কতলা রাত দিতে হবে দেবনাথ পাপাই মনিকা দেবনাথ রজত মিঠুন কৃষ্ণা পাল বিক্রম দাস
মিঠু পাল আমার স্টুডেন্ট
এরপরে
Devanath, I would request you to please mute yourself.
অঞ্জলি দাস পার্থ দাস এরপরে নিকি নীলিমা দাস এই দিছি এবারে দিছে
Friends, in case anybody is unable to join, I have shared the YouTube link also with via mail. Please look into it. If in case your friends are unable to join us, they can join us via YouTube as well. As we have limitation of 100 participants here, so we will not be able to entertain rest of them.
ना ऐसे नहीं थोड़ा सा वॉल में कर दो बस
नहीं है
Please provide the groups ऐसे करके डाल दो. I will coordinate, but please provide me the group allotment ऐसे डाल दो. ताकि उसमें पता चले.
नहीं आए हैं लेकिन किसी का इन लोगों ने पैसा लिया किसी का नहीं लिया था भेजो क्यों 441719 अच्छा है ना तूने दिया डायरेक्ट कनेक्ट कर नहीं हो रहा
Good morning, Dr. Alka.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us. We are waiting for other participants to join. As soon as they join, we'll start in time.
Okay.
Thank you.
All the faculties are joined down. There is a auditorium. So I think I'll show video, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Dr. Harpreet. I know few of the participants, so I'm guessing we can know each other by the time our guests are joining us.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. It's my pleasure.
तीन मिनट में हो जाता है। हाँ।
गाली खा रहे थे।
दे दो, क्या है? दे दो, थोड़ा बहुत तो खा लें।
Good morning, Himanshu. After a long time, I'm seeing you.
आप कुछ अटेंड कर रहे हो?
नहीं, मैंने आज क्लास ली है, थोड़ा से अलग ही पढ़ती हूँ। तो मुझे लग बहुत सारा चाहिए।
हाँ,
तो पता नहीं चलता।
एक्सप्लेन करके बनता है।
आज से फिर क्लास पढ़ाऊंगी। थर्ड ईयर नीचे देखो, सेकेंड ईयर में क्लास खत्म हुआ क्या?
I request all the participants to keep your mic at mute. Our esteemed guests have joined us, and we are starting with the session. So I request all of you to put on your cameras and keep yourself mute. Good morning to one and all, and on behalf of Government Medical College and Hospital, College of Nursing, and Nursing Scholars Society and Chapter Saffron, I welcome you all on this third international webinar, where we shall discuss about the artificial intelligence and how slowly and steadily it is becoming part of our lives. It has been evidently taking up the space in the nursing profession as well, and allowing the nursing professional to perform better and come up with a better productivity. Artificial intelligence is actually a set of technologies that enable computers to perform a variety of functions. However, this again is dependent on humans because humans need to perform some coding and different algorithms they are supposed to come up with so that computers is able to perform a decision. So therefore, artificial is again dependent on humans. So to enlighten further on this same topic, we have our esteemed expert on artificial intelligence and machine learning, Mr. Ashish Kumar. He has joined us from USA and he has been working in this field since 2 decades. And before I proceed, I would like to thank Nursing Scholar Society family to motivate us and inspire us to come up with such an idea and execute it as well. I would like to request our National President, Dr. Binu Jo, to address the audience.
A very warm good morning to one and all. Come to the stage, one and all. I request all the participants, please mute their microphones. Yes, thank you. A very warm good morning to one and all. It's really great pleasure, respected honorable dignitaries, dear delegates, and all the Nightingales who have joined across to a very timely international webinar on artificial intelligence. I'm very deeply thankful to all the organizing committee members who have taken a pain to initiate. I'm very much who made this really a thinking of that artificial intelligence webinar. Yes, it's really a need of our because we are doing lots of healthcare workers are specifically in need of this particular topic and they need to understand more about this. So I am very much thankful to the organizing committee members for organizing such a timely conference. And the Nursing Scholar Society founded and mission of our patron, Madam Dr. Suresh Narula Khanna. The society, basically the main mission of the society is care to the caregivers. So we have very nobles of profession. It's a dedicated team and our Indian nursing peoples have done a great work in enriching our society. So I'm very proud to say that all the members of the society has taken a great work and they all are doing, each chapter presidents are doing various activities to enrich the vision and mission of the society. So I am always thankful to all of you for organizing such a timely conference in the best interest of the nursing profession. And we have a very dedicated person, as Madam was telling, Jyoti Ma'am was telling. Yes, sir is very an expert speaker, Ashish Kumar sir, a very renowned person, and I'm very eager to more listen about from this sir in related to this topic, so we can enhance more on artificial intelligence. Thank you for inviting me to speak on this occasion. Thank you all, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Ashish, you must be in, you must have got the gist that how excited we all are, how are we going to learn through this. Before your session, I would just one more address by our founder member, that is Dr. Khanna. She has sent her wishes via recorded message. I request the participants to please mute yourself.
Please mute yourself. Lot of noise is there.
So please allow me to be host. Thank you.
Greetings from New York, USA. I'm so pleased to be here through this video clip to connect with you all on this auspicious day of webinar on artificial intelligence by an international speaker, Mr. Ashish Bose. My respected dignitaries, my respected chapter president, Jyoti Tecnology, her expert executive team, our organizing team, and our audience and lovely students. Today's topic is very timely and appropriate. As you all know, artificial intelligence is the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages. The machine has the ability to display human-like capabilities. AI enables technical systems to perceive their environment, create what they perceive, and act to achieve a specific goal. Today, we are just AI in our nursing profession. The expert, international leader has a wealth of knowledge and we will be the expert so that and learning about how to utilize nurse care of the patients. This message brings my blessing to follow perfectly of production and utilization and also of career success. All those students who are future transformational leaders should be very lucky to have this opportunity. Now in Western countries, yes we do. These are like the required courses for us as soon as new technology comes, and we also have learned the hard way. We can know how to write email or send a text message or be on WhatsApp or post on the Facebook. My students were the ones who are teaching me all these new gadgets and things like that, where the switches are what to do and how to relay our messages and all that, because we were required to get their text messages about their nursing care plans, things like that at home. After that, leave the customer, not during political because we can wasting time or sometimes. So coming back to technology, after presentation, and there are many experts who 100% support us. If Dr. Bimlaji is there, Dr. Ashia Qureshi is there, if Dr. Supal Krantz is there, our founder president, and so we know sir, and the experts if they are there, my best wishes and my right to you with the most gratitude that you are arranging these webinars in the profession and to our to all good night.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us virtually and sending your wishes. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Rupinder to take over and start with this session. We have our guest between us, and I would like to request Ms. Rupinder to come forward and introduce our esteemed expert.
क्लास में क्या सुबह से क्लास में प्रैक्टिस कराई थी 9 बजे से और क्या
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me the opportunity to introduce her. So about Mr. Ashish Kumar. From education point of view, he has done his Masters of Data Science, and he is a Bachelor in Computer Science and Engineering. He is having an executive leadership from Wharton School. From professional experience, we have a look on sir's expertise. He is a Senior Enterprise Architect, Machine Learning and Data Science, Senior Manager, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning and Data Architecture, AI Engineer Manager at AI Architect. He is a Senior Director at McKesson Relay Health. He is having expertise in artificial intelligence and machine learning, big data analytics, healthcare and life sciences. As you can see the followers on LinkedIn, and he's having a more than 1,500 connections. So without waiting, we are having our expert, Mr. Ashish Kumar, with us. So handing over to you, sir.
Well, good morning, and this is Ashish Kumar. Let me start by thanking the Nursing Scholars Society, specifically your president, Miss Jyoti, the other society members, and for inviting me to talk about AI in nursing. And I also want to extend warm welcome to all the attendees who are listening to this talk that I'm about to give. So I'm very excited to be here. And before we start, I would like to have a permission to present, because I can pull up my deck here unless someone else has. I can give the link, but I don't see a option to present. So host should be able to give me presentation privileges.
You have the permissions.
Okay, let's see. Where is the share button? I'm not so good. How do I share? Sorry, I'm not a big Zoom user. Can someone help me point out where's the share button here? I don't see the share presentation button.
At the center, you can see share screen.
Green one.
Actually, I don't see it, unfortunately. So let's do this in the interest of time.
Shall I
I
share?
will. Yeah, let me put the link in the chat, and whoever is the presenter, if you can open this link, President Jyoti, if you want to do that, let me put the link in the chat. I'll send you direct message. Okay. So I just sent the link. Please open it up.
Please give me the access. I do not have the
नहीं ये एक वेबिनार है क्योंकि अभी एआई का बहुत क्रेज आएगा अभी 5G आएगा ना बहुत क्रेज रेवोल्यूशन आने वाला है हेल्थ केयर में ये जो क्लास ले रहा है यूएसए वाला आशीष कुमार इंजीनियरिंग तो हाँ एआई का अभी जो चैट जीपीटी आया ना उसको पूरा लोड है मैंने रजिस्टर करने की कोशिश की हुआ नहीं इसका कोर्स भी करना है
Participants, please mute yourself.
Actually,
so do you have access? Because you're I'm hearing background noise, but you should have access. I see it. Are we good to start?
Yes, sir. We shall start now.
All right. Again, sorry for the technical glitch, but again, thank you for inviting me. Welcome everyone. And again, super thankful to the society president, society members, attendees for taking time to attend this call and this talk. So again, the topic is AI and nursing. Let's go to the next slide. So before I go into artificial intelligence, I also want to just put a disclaimer that everything I'm about to talk here is my personal views. There is nothing here should be taken as endorsement by anyone or any other organization. This is just me as a person, who has worked in this field for a long time. And I'm about to talk to you about what is artificial intelligence and what it means and how nursing can benefit from it. So let's talk about artificial intelligence. I'm sure everyone on this call has heard this term, and if you think about it, it's very straightforward, simple term, but it's very, very hard to define. How do you define artificial intelligence? So if you go to the next slide, I have put some certain quotes, and most of you probably have started hearing about this term in last maybe 5 years, 10 years, but believe it or not, it actually has existed for decades. And uh, so the pioneer of this field was actually a gentleman named Alan Turing. And back in 1947, the year India got its independence, he was already talking about what artificial intelligence could be. And in his words, it is essentially a machine that can learn from experiences. And he hypothesized that there is a possibility of letting the machine not only learn, but provide its own instructions on how it can learn. So if you think about it in general terms, when someone says, okay, what is 2 plus 2, and we say 4, internally we are doing the math as humans. What it means is that we are talking about a way that machines figures out that math by itself, not by being taught by anyone else. And so other people have also tried to define it in Britannica. Britannica is a very famous encyclopedia. It talks about the ability of computers and robots to perform tasks that commonly are associated with intelligent beings, aka humans. So things like reading, things like identifying a cat in the picture, things like creating closed captioning. And if you have been watching the recent news, there is now computers that can generate languages, that can write poems, that can create pictures, that can do things that were unthinkable even 20 years ago. Without belaboring the point, there are a couple of eminent other persons like Daniela Russ. She talks about how artificial intelligence is about the science engineering of making machines think like human and or human-like characteristics in how they see the world, how they move, and how they play. Last but not least, Wikipedia, I've also tried to define it, and it's basically around intelligence in perceiving, synthesizing, and inferring information. When we say perceiving, it's the act of either seeing or hearing. Synthesizing is how you digest that information, like we have brains to synthesize, and we have our senses to infer. How do machines do that? So
क्या
when
बोल
they
रहा है?
start,
यहाँ बहुत गंदा संदा है, इसको साफ कर दे। आप कोई
when they
ऋषि
start,
मुनि है क्या जो मैं आपकी खातिरदारी करूंगी, आप मेरे आश्रम आओगे तो?
can you mute them? Professor Jyoti, you should be able to mute them. You're a host. Thank you.
Host can mute all the participants. It's quite disturbing.
Yeah, please, if you can. So as I was saying, okay, I'm back. So it's called the Turing test, and what he proposed is that if you were sitting in one room and behind a wall, behind the closed door, there's another entity. And if you start asking that entity questions, and if you start getting the responses back, and if you can distinguish, if you can figure out if it's a machine or a human answering your questions, then that entity has achieved reasonable level of intelligence. So we see glimpse of it in our daily lives, right? If you were to ask what's the date today, and on the other side you have, let's say, Google Assistant or Alexa or a human, any one of them answer, it will be hard for you to say did human answer it, because all of them can tell the date pretty accurately, right? So that test is essentially a fundamental. Remember that, because in the next slide we'll talk about why that is important. So hopefully all of you have a reasonably good idea of why artificial intelligence is and why is it so hard to define. So let's go to the next slide. So now that we have a very high level idea of what the artificial intelligence is, as you can imagine, as humans, we have different type of intelligence. We can understand languages, we can interpret pictures, we can interpret text. So similarly, artificial intelligence also has various categories. So one of them is around logical reasoning. So this is around should I go left or should I go right based on certain criteria. Language understanding. So this is all around when you ask your assistant, what's the day today? Or what's the temperature outside? Or how's the weather outside? That entity actually understands your language. It understands what you're trying to ask before it can ask you the question. Knowledge representation is the other part of it, that how does it capture all this knowledge about, let's say, weather and let's say sports, weather, you name it, right? The different type of knowledges. How does it store that information and how it then represents it so it can respond to your queries? Then there is a perception using sensors. So this is around your IoT devices. So this is your robots, this is your cameras or your, it could be your audio devices like your Google Assistant, Alexa, Google Assistant, the Google speakers. They all have sensors that can pick your audio language. And then learning, how can it learn? So learning, think of learning as a translation of of a language from, let's say, English to Hindi or vice versa. That cannot happen just by logic. You have to learn the languages to be able to translate. So everything you see in orange is actually capabilities that do exist today in some form or fashion. And I'm sure most of you have experienced it one way or another. But there is also categories of artificial intelligence that are still futuristic, that are still science fiction material. For example, thinking. Thinking is something we as humans do pretty naturally. We have been doing it for thousands of years, but machines today cannot think. We do want them to think, but they do not think today. The other aspect of artificial intelligence that doesn't exist today is social intelligence. Uh, machines do tasks we ask them to do, but they do not have feelings. They do not have emotions, and certainly they're not moody. I don't know if you want them to be, but at least as of right now, they're not moody, right? A general intelligence. So right now, this is the other one is every solution, everything we see out there is very specific. There is only one solution that can do, let's say, give you information about your sports and whatnot. There is a robot who can assemble a car. There's a robot who can do precision surgery, but they do very specific function. We are not quite there yet, where as a human, we can do a lot of things, but machines, especially in artificial intelligence, tends to do one or two things, very specific things, very good, but otherwise they won't. So for example, if you ask your, again, Google Assistant, how do I climb Mount Everest, it probably will give you some link to web. It will not tell you how to do that, right? But it can do certain things. Last but not least, self-awareness. We as humans have our own, we are aware of our own existence, but machines do not have that today. It's not to say that they will not have it in the future, but again, these are very, very long-term goals of artificial intelligence that may happen in few decades, maybe 100, 200 years. Everyone is working towards that direction, but I just wanted to level set with all of you that what different type of artificial what different type of categories exist. Some of them are real, some of them are science fiction, but it may become real in, in the future. Let's keep going. Next one. Next slide. So as we saw on the previous slide, there are different type of categories. So you can very well imagine there are also different type of artificial intelligence. There are different branches of artificial intelligence. Broadly speaking, you have machine learning where you're teaching machines certain skills. You have artificial intelligence around natural language where you can create solutions that can understand language, that can translate language, that can process natural language. So things like natural language processing, think of it like it can read a doctor's report and can create a summary. It can read a report and it can extract certain important aspects from it. So it is easy to search later. Then you have chatbots where you can uh, you can talk to a chatbot as a patient or as a user, and you can say, how can I need to call customer service if you're calling your telephone company, and most likely chatbot can pick it up. You probably also hear it when you call and you hear a music and you hear for prompts. These are all chatbots. And then latest progress there is language generative. So I'm sure you have, if you have not heard, Chat GPT-3 and OpenAI. So recently it has been in news and it's generating all kind of languages like poems and essays. I'm not sure about in India, but in the United States is actually writing essays for high school students, which has created quite a stir. So as you can imagine. So, and then you have expert systems, so like legal expert systems. You also have robotics, where robots are doing all kind of things. And then you have fuzzy logic. Fuzzy logic is a very, very, very specialized field. So in the interest of time, we'll park it for now. If you want to learn more, you can always get in touch with me later. Next slide. So how is AI helping in healthcare? As you can imagine, before I explain the applications healthcare, just remember that every time you hear AI, in the background, you're talking about lots and lots and lots of data. Any AI solution, any machine learning solution requires lots of data. And we live in the information age. Everything is digital, everything is computer, everything is on either on the internet or stored on computer somewhere, which has made it very easy, not easy, but which has made it possible to apply artificial intelligence in healthcare. So how are some of the ways it is being used? So artificial intelligence is being used to discover new drugs, discover new medicines. It is also being used to create formulas, and it is also helping with smarter manufacturing. It is also helping with the next level of diagnosis for serious ailments like cancer. So it can detect cancer that a human eye cannot, and sometimes even the standard, the radiologists, they may miss, but these machine learning solutions can detect that. Not only detect that, they can look at patient's history and they can even predict the risk of cancer. So it allows doctors to advise patients that, hey, you are a high risk, you're a risk of getting cancer, and help them, be proactive in avoiding things like this, things like cancer. Then you have patient engagement. So, I mean, most of you are nurses, you deal with patients day in and day out, and artificial intelligence can help you and the patients in engaging your patients better, whether it's telling them to take medication on time, whether reminding them that they're running out of medication, reminding them of they have an appointment coming up, or even things like, for a very simple thing like, oh, I have cold and I have a headache, AI can help you even help that patient with medication without necessarily have to seeing the doctor, because you can imagine in rural areas or in a very large hospitals, the staff shortage is pretty common. So you can help patient get the care they need faster, more efficiently, and more accurately. It can also help with things like billing. It is also heavily used in clinical trials, And as a hospital and clinics, it also helps with how do you manage the hospital. I'm sure as nurses, you have some roles in hospital management as well. So AI is playing increasingly important role in helping the administrators manage the hospitals. So let's keep going. In the next two slides, I have put together a video. So me talking is one thing, but I've put together a couple, actually 3 videos, but we'll see 2 videos back to back where where it will, so this is a TED talk that was given not so long ago, and he's going to talk about how AI is transforming healthcare. So I'll go on mute, and Madam President, please play these videos back to back.
Sir, I'm trying. I'll see if it can be shared.
It's okay. If not, you have the deck. You can share it with the participants, and they can watch it
Give
later
me a
as
moment. I
well.
think.
Take your time.
Is it?
Ma'am, it's not visible.
Should we continue or still trying to? There we go.
So we, if it is working, otherwise we are going to get the videos.
By the way, the video is not playing. Audio is. I think it's about to come.
And improve healthcare for millions. Artificial intelligence has often been depicted as villain robots ready to take over the world. But I'm here to tell you that AI can actually save lives and improve healthcare for millions of patients around the world. AI is helping us personalize the delivery of care, make hospitals more efficient, and improve access to healthcare by providing accurate decision making. AI is the process of educating a computer model using complex and large data sets. The model learns from this data in a training process to build its ability to make decisions or predict outcomes when presented with new data. We are talking about having access to a computer model that knows based on the experience of thousands of other patients whether a treatment is likely to work and what works best for that patient based on their individual condition. No two of you in this room, or in fact anywhere in the world, are alike. But AI models are helping our doctors learn from patients with similar conditions or even similar genetic information and make highly informed decisions about the diagnosis and the treatment options. I want to talk about how we are starting to use AI for delivering care to cancer patients. Cancer diagnosis can be immensely complicated, both for the doctors in making decisions about diagnosing a primary or secondary cancer, as well as for the patient in understanding the risks and success rate of the treatment option. But we are developing AI models that can make this process by taking information from a number of sources. This involves feeding an AI model data from the patient images of the suspected lesion, as well as genetic, and rapidly consolidate this information diagnosis, but not even the best of get a treatment specific cancer and survive but our team right here in Brisbane has developed a tool using AI.
I think the slide share has stopped.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not sure who is hosting. Can we bring the slide deck back?
मतलब पहले जो इंस्पेक्शन हुआ था उसमें तीन ही आए थे, अब 7 आ जाने थे.
I request all the participants to kindly be patient. Actually, due to the technological issues, I think the network issues are there. So that's why Madam Jyoti, I think she got disconnected. Madam will be connecting in a while. So I request every participant kindly be on the mute mode. Madam Kamlesh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Manjeet ma'am. The problem is that we have an issue related to display of our video. So I request our expert to please proceed with the PPT so that we are continuing with the session. Am I audible, Manjeet ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, the PPT share can be given to the person where the better, internet facilities are there.
Yes, ma'am. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you. I, I'm hoping I'm audible. You can hear me,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir, you're
Oh,
audible.
excellent. Excellent. So, what I will do is I will post a I will actually post a message here in the chat towards the end, and I'll put a PDF of the PowerPoint so everyone will have a copy of it. So you can also watch those videos in your own time, and I highly encourage you to watch that. But what I want to also call out is that, I mean, as AI is becoming more and more prominent in healthcare, uh, AI will not replace nursing or nurses anytime soon. As you saw at this when I was talking about the different types of AI in different categories, we are nowhere close to AI that is self-aware, that has emotions, and that is generally intelligent or self-aware. Unless we get to that level, AI will continue to help humans get better in the activities they do. So in case of nursing, it will help you in providing a better patient care, because ultimately patients have to benefit from this, or it's not very useful technology. So, and if you're wondering how you can help, AI will help you in enhancing patient care, let's go to the next slide and let's see how. So there are two. I touched upon these earlier too, but the one of the really and if you go back and see that TED talk, they talk about too. So clinical decision support is one of the most important area where AI is making an impact already. And when we talk about clinical decision support, it basically means your decision in advising the patient, or your doctor's or the doctor's decision to diagnose or provide medication, or just provide general care. So you can AI can be used to go through patient health records confidentially, of course. I mean, this is private data, and you can extract alerts. You can create smart interpretation of medical reports. You can also create dashboards for yourself, especially if you are in a clinic, or if you're in a hospital situation where you are providing care to a floor or a set of more than one patient. You can use AI to create alerts that will allow you to provide more quality care to your patients in real time. And as I said before, you can also use AI is also being used to lower the bar, where nurses actually are helping doctors with providing more quality care to each of those patients. So as I gave example earlier, if a patient came to you and say, I have a skin on my mole, or I don't know if it's malignant, or if it's dangerous, or you have patients say, I have a headache and things, or I have just general symptoms, right? AI can help you based on what it learned on how to help that patient get better faster. In the end, everyone wins. The patient doesn't have to see a doctor, which means it's less cost for them. For nurses, it's also less burden, because the likelihood of patient returning back to hospital is less, because you have provide the correct diagnosis and correct medication, which by the way is a huge issue here in a healthcare system in the United States. Then AI also allows patients to empower themselves. So you can use chatbots as nurses, but patient can also use chatbots to get the help they need and when they need it. It also allows them to be more independent if they are receiving a medical care. And in the end, combine all these different tools and chatbots, and uh, the cancer diagnosis solutions, the patient health record based solutions. It's going to increase your ability to support more patients per nurse, especially in a hospital type settings, where imagine if right now if your, let's say, shift involves supporting 8 patients, you can scale that more without having to work extra hard, because you have now AI acting as your extra assistant, and it's providing you the data, the data you need to make the right decisions efficiently, effectively, and accurately. So hopefully this gives you some idea about how AI is impacting the nursing field. Let's go to the next one. So again, these are some of the uh, other options or benefits of how some of this I already touched upon. One thing I didn't talk about is the mobile-based, so cell phone-based tools that the patients can use to get the healthcare they need, and that's where the sensors and wearable technologies also come in picture. Because if, let's say, think of a simple fever example. If a patient is wearing basically a bracelet which is constantly taking their temperature and sending it back to you, machine learning can interpret the data and can only raise alert when it thinks or when it concludes that there is a urgent need for intervention. Otherwise, you don't have to call patient constantly, or patient doesn't have to call the hospital to tell I'm feeling fine, I'm not feeling fine. So these are empowering tools, and if they're able to get that care, that means they don't have to come to your hospital or clinic as often, because you are giving them the care they need at their home remotely where they are. And that's where the sensor technology is going to play a even bigger role as we go into as we go into the future. These sensors are also going to collect a lot of patient vitals and patient information that otherwise either patient has to come to you, and if you're in a hospital setting, you have to patient rooms to collect. So sensors can also help you collect these vitals and expedite the decision making process, which are very useful options if, let's say, if you're a nurse in a hospital, an area where staffing is short or resources are very limited. And then it is also can be used to manage chronic illness like high blood pressure. It comes to my mind. I'm not a medical person, but I have seen AI and all these sensor technologies being used to manage even chronic conditions as well. So if you want to take one takeaway from this is really about that. It is already deeply ingrained in nursing, and be open-minded about it in embracing these technologies such as mobile tools, smartphones, sensors, and look for options to empower your patient to get the information and to get the help they need, rather than they asking you. Get it in their hands proactively, and in the end, uh, everyone will benefit from it. So let's go to the slide 12, which is a video. So we're gonna skip that as this is a video, but let's go to the 13th. So what can you do? We are coming towards the end of this presentation. So what can you do if you look at it like, it may all sound very complicated, and then some of these presentations talk about the doctors and researchers doing this phenomenal research work. What I can tell you is that you don't need to be a researcher. You don't need to be a deep subject matter expert on machine learning. There are tools, and if what I ask you to do is to think of ideas, because once you have ideas, it will not be very hard for you to find people who can help you, who can build a technology platform for you. My favorite example is India is a multilingual country, multicultural country. About 90% of the work in AI today is done in English, but majority of the India does not speak English. So think about what kind of chatbots can help your patients in regional languages, the languages that that is not English. Imagine if a person who is in, let's say, rural village in West Bengal, or in or somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, or pick any state, right? If they have access to this chatbot on their phone, because everyone carries cell phone today, and if they can talk in their own language, imagine the impact it can have in terms of providing the care. Also think of how you can simplify, how you can make what kind of diagnosis tools will help for low risk medical conditions. So things like headaches and simple fever, or things that you see in kids or in patients on day-to-day basis, and majority of them probably require a simple diagnosis. So think of how you can, again, create tools that either have patient run their initial diagnosis, or you can run diagnosis on behalf of the doctor. And patient gets quick care and less burden on doctor and hospitals as well. Also think of how you can enable patients to manage their health remotely by themselves. That's where the chatbots and all these tools will come in handy. The most important thing is that you have to break down the language barrier. A lot of things happen in English in medical world today, but most patients don't understand English very well. And yeah, just focus on building the tools that will enable self-care and independence for your patients. The more you think in that direction, the more everyone will benefit. Let's go to the final slide. I believe that. So I have added an article here, and please take time to read it when you have time. And this article also, and this kind of summarizes the message I bring to you today, which is that nurses should be involved in conceptualizing, developing, and implementation of AI. That does not mean that you have to be the machine learning engineer. You don't have to be the engineer or scientist, but you are bearing the idea. You have the most intimate knowledge of what patients' challenges are today. You understand their challenges, and I'm sure you have ideas and you have solutions in your mind. Bring them to the front, and as I said, you will have no trouble finding people who can build this technical platforms for you. So with that, actually, I believe we are to the, so that concludes my talk. So thank you again for the opportunity to talk to all of you. I have put in here QR code for my LinkedIn profile. So everyone has smartphones. If you would like to connect me on LinkedIn, just scan this and it will take you exactly to my profile. Follow me, reach out to me if you have any questions. And again, thank you so very much for the opportunity to come here and talk to you. I hope you found this talk helpful, and I can stay on for if there are any questions. So back to the organizers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing time and energy for us. I do have some queries about it. Though we have been using this chat box, which my majority of us are not aware, because I have been getting some few messages that where are we using the chat box? If I'm not wrong, please correct me if I am. When we are using the online shopping platforms, we get the availability of chat with us, and there we start chatting and automatically we receive the answers. So I think that is also a chat box. Similarly, majority of you must have used Swiggy online and other platforms where you get the possibility of chatting with the person there. So they are actually chat box when you connect.
That's a very good example. I mean, anywhere you want to, anywhere. I mean, more and more websites are also doing it. Where if you go to a website, if you're looking at a product, they'll say, "Hey, welcome to our website. How can I help you?" You'll see a little chat bubble at the bottom or at the top of the website. That's an example of a chatbots, and is exactly what they are. They're tiny robots who can talk to you like humans, right? As if you're talking to a human. But putting a chatbot means thousands of them can serve thousands of customers or visitors at the same time without you having to have one person talking to every person.
Rightly said, sir. Sir, we have one of our expert, Dr. Asha Qureshi. She is also has a PhD holder in the same field. Ma'am, over to you. Ma'am has raised her.
Thank you, Jyoti. And thank you, Dr. Ashish, for giving us a very, very elaborative, experience of, implementing the artificial intelligence and the machine learning in nursing. though I know that it is not a very new field. In 1980, when it came, but everybody became resistant and fearful about how to use it. And as you said, that there are certain challenges which we have to look forward. Those challenges, if we are going to keep those challenges and concept that, that yes, if the machine learning will come and the robotics are coming, then that will replace the doctors and the nurses and other people and all. That is one of the very, very important, as you discussed that also. But this is the fear now in the mind of the people, and they are resistant to implement that. And there are certain other challenges also in healthcare system that require that you require a lot of access to the large data. When
That's
we have
correct.
the
Yes.
large data, then only we can see that it has to be effective. When we don't have large data in our hand, the whole of the program, it will not be that effective, for the nurses. And nurses are not expert, in having that large data, and we need some IT professionals and all, in that, which who can train the nurses and all to have that.
Absolutely.
Sir,
No,
another
absolutely.
challenge, I will come to that. Another challenge you can discuss all together. Another challenge is that there is a risk of bias. There is always a risk of bias if the data used to train the algorithm is not representative of the population. As you said, different culture, different languages, diversity, so that, create a lot of problem. And how to overcome that? We have to look forward, in these particular challenges. And then there is a lack of standardization across different artificial system, which can make it difficult to compare the result. Now, how to compare the result, So those are the challenges which I think you spoke those challenges. Now we are all nursing educators sitting over here, and we have to take up these challenges, and we have to look forward, move forward without any threatening, without any fear. What Dr. Ashish has told, and this is my question, that challenges, we should not be afraid of the challenges. We have to be ready to take up the challenge, no artificial intelligence right now, because they have very limited tools now available, like decision making tool and various other tools. So it will take a long time. We can think of the future when things will be enhanced more, at a more better scale, then it can, this is the future thinking. We should not think and worried about now, right now. Yeah, isn't it, Dr. Ashish?
100%. Absolutely. First of all, I'm not doctor, but thank you for your comments. They are very timely. So let me just add a couple of thoughts here. So loss of job is very natural human reaction. Let me give an example. When the computer started entering in the banking industry, there was extreme fear that the cashiers will be redundant, because everything that cashiers were doing, ATM machines can do. I'm sure you have all gone to banks, and I'm sure you still see cashiers in the banks, right? What has happened is the cashiers are doing the work that ATM machines cannot do, and you're thankful, because if you go to bank, they're not sitting there counting notes for 10 people ahead of you, which ATM machine can do in 1 second, and they're taking 10 minutes, right? So I give that example that fear is natural, but that's where we have to keep an open mind and understand the technology, understand its impact. And if you think about it, in a human evolution, the first transformation that happened in human civilization was industrialization. The second one was electricity, and the third one is artificial intelligence. If you think about it, they have been a pivotal points in our human civilization, how we have evolved and continue to evolve. And if we don't embrace it, it is at our own peril, because others will, right? And we don't want to be left behind either. I also want to say the bias is a very real problem, and that's why I'm also advocating that you're all very smart people. take interest, take time to build solutions in your own language. Building solutions in your own language is the very first step towards removing that bias that comes with English, right? Not everyone speaks English in India. The other thing is, so I'll give an example. So I was part of a healthcare company where we built a machine learning model which could identify body parts in CT and MR images. And the reason we did that was because a radiologist spends a lot of time in trying to figure out where the wrist is in a 500 images CT scan. If machine learning model can tell you where it is, it saved you a lot of time and you can just focus on your job. That's the kind of solutions you want to think about. How can these things? How can a machine learning make my job and my patient's life better? And yes, data is another one. But as I said before, we are we are increasingly a digital society. I'm pretty sure you rarely send a mail these days. Most of your interactions are digital. You write emails, you post messages on social media, you receive your communication digitally, emails, or audio like phone calls and whatnot. So we are becoming a digital society. So even though you may not have enough data today, it is only increasing. It is only increasing. I read somewhere that the total amount of data generated by society is doubling every 2 years from this point onwards. So data may be short today, but it will not be true in even 2 to 5 years from now.
True, sir.
Are
I
there?
also agree with you. If I look at our present scenario,
Yeah, thank you,
we had
Dr.
online
Ashish.
shopping
Thank you
coming
so
in.
much. I have one more question about like machine learning and AI learning is only taking care of the cognitive aspect, cognitive domain, you know, but other domains like cognitive domain, affective domain, compassion, love, you know, and the psychomotor domain is lacking in that, you know. Like when we have the psychomotor domain, we give injection and doing certain procedures and all, that the kind of touch and kind of compassion, you know, is lacking in that. Yeah, of course, the
Well,
AI will help us in achieving maximum of cognitive domain, you know.
well,
But
that's why I
here,
said
these are the things,
AI.
you know.
No, AI. That's why I said AI is your assistant. AI is not replacing any human anytime soon. So any expectation that it will provide that human touch is unrealistic. As I said before, we are decades and decades away from anywhere close to being that. So right now we should think it of as another your partner, your assistant, and that has a potential to make your life better and transform your patient's life.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish.
True, sir. You have said rightly, because when emails and other things came up, everybody was like, what post office would do. But till date, there is the existence of post office. So I would say it is only going to support us. The effective in other domains, it may not give. So that is how we can say that humans will always be on upper hand. And one of our participant, Dr. Rupa Shri has commented that mobile health tools cannot be reliable. It can always have many technical glitches, especially with the network and power, etc. Like we ourselves are having it today, even. I would like to say to Dr. Rupa that truly said, softwares and artificial intelligence would provide you support and assistance. The final authority, the final decision making holds with us only. As Sir has also said that it will not replace nurses, though it will only aid up to the work and productivity of ours. Sir, we have Mr. Melvin with us. He has also raised the hand. So over to you, Melvin, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank all the organizers for such a wonderful session. You know, it's very necessary right now. I hope in next month, the WHO also going to organize on artificial intelligence to the nurses. It's under the discussion part. And my personal opinion, I always support technology because as Sir mentioned, it has evolved a lot. My point of view, actually, I'm seeing this technology can be used where the lacking is present, because the number of nurses available across the globe is really, you know, quite less in number. as per the requirement, we were not able to, supply the nurses where there are a lot of works they have to do. As your point of view, you said like it can be an assistant in certain works. Being a professional in the nursing, we have to identify those areas where it can be assist the nurses. I feel so. In that way, we are working on the global level project in collaboration with Saudi and Egypt and a couple of countries. Still, it's conceptualized manner, focusing on adolescents. While working on this, there are a lot of platforms we could come up with, and our project is mainly aiming to assist adolescent girls who are living in the remote areas. I think more than 90 percentage of, or 80 to 90 percentage of people even in rural India, they still uses smart mobiles, and networks are wide, very wide. That too, the recent implementation of 5G networks, maybe a couple of years after, there are a lot maybe improvement we can see. So it is the right time to start, we hope. And we were working on the conversational robots, what you said, to give the personalized health education to the adolescent girls, especially when they are stuck up with the problem. Instead of Googling it, where there are millions of responses may arise, where they may not know which is the primary source of information, and nobody will be nobody will be there to help them out to pick up the right information. Where we can design, as you said, we are working with the local languages, already started working on that, so that they may get the exact response what they want direct from the health professional as nurses. And what difficulty we are finding here is, when we are designing, when we are capturing the entity of peoples or the adolescents, it should not be like just like giving them health education through the chatbots, but we are trying to monitor their health remotely. That is also one of the focus, one of the objective in this study. When we are trying to pull those entities, those informations, say for example, if you are trying to monitor irregularity of menstrual cycle of adolescent girls, they have to update the first day of menstrual cycle, something like that. That information to be captured and stored in a data sheet. Maybe, say for example, right now the dialog flow in the Google are offering facility to create our own chatbots. Apart from that, lot of what is there, Engati, so many platforms are available. But whereas when we have all the data across our participants, if it could be implemented across the wide range of area, we can get a lot of data, so that we can have the regression model to predict the future problem, and they could help those adolescents specifically. And meanwhile, we can evaluate this. So, sir, could you suggest any mod or any technologies, even with the dialog flow, how to identify or record those entities specifically? Could you suggest any courses on that?
So let me start from the top, and do stop me if I don't answer your question. So first of all, I think the you talked about data and the usage. I don't know if you are, but I would also consider form a group of the adolescent girls that you're planning to serve, create a focus group, and let them use this in a more controlled environment, right? So that way you will know usability is very important, right? But we as a solution developer have no, even though we may think we know everything, there is no way we can tell how patient would use your solution. So it's really important to include them in your designing, in your solutioning, while you're in a conceiving, when you're conceiving the solution, right? The second thing is the actual collection of data. So as someone else also mentioned, that the data can be choppy, the data can be, the data transmission can get interrupted by poor networks. So design your solution in a way that if it cannot transmit the data, it stores it locally. And if you know for sure that the data cell phone coverage certainly is poor and you have patients there, one of your technician can easily go and visit them, and just even through Bluetooth they can download the data on their computer and bring it back. right? So that's how you can overcome the challenge of not being able to get the data. The third and most important thing is ai AI is only adopted and useful when it has trust. So think of how you're going to show that it can be trusted, right? When you're building regression models, but even before regression models, can you trust AI model, and can your patient trust that AI model, right? That's also something you want to consider. The last is about chatbot and people not being able to use chatbot. Think of it this way: chatbots, you can, yes, you can type, you can speak in your phone, but you can also take the same dialogue flow chatbot and you can make it just on the phone. You can call phone a number, and it can also be a chatbot. You don't need to speak. You can call from a landline number and get the exact same information that you're trying to get on your mobile phone, right? So if one of my strongest suggestion is that talk to the people you're trying to serve. Instead of assuming, talk to them and make sure what you're building is what they need. Start from there, everything else will fall in place. What I've seen is that sometimes people build these tools thinking, oh, this is going to be great, and then your patient sees it, and either they don't trust it, or they don't understand it, or they may not even, they don't like it, right? The usability of a tool is very, very, very important, and no one can tell you it's usable except the person who's going to use it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. In that way, see, when we are discussing with technical advisors like you, we are also getting a lot of other informations or areas we have to focus when we are implementing such technologies in healthcare setting. I think we have to have workshops or collaborated discussions when to improve these particular technologies in nursing. I hope so. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And no, absolutely. I have put in my LinkedIn information. If you want to have more questions, if you want to continue this conversation, please reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Happy
yeah. Yes, sir.
to
Yes, sir. I
answer any
started.
follow-up questions.
Yeah, already started following you. I'll just communicate. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. David, I have to say something.
Yes,
This particular model of AI is very well working in the pediatrics and newborn units. The sensor, use of sensors, the nurses are trained by the this thing, and those nurses are working in the Gangaram Hospital, in AIMS, and they are working very well. They identify immediately, they sense, sensors are there on their hand, and they immediately see that the child is restless and child is, child need any care, urgent care. They just go. It's working very well in pediatrics. That I have seen that. I myself has visited Gangaram. I myself has visited, I even nursery of AIMS, where newborn children. The nurses are every nurse is putting sensor, and they are using that AI concept, in the nursery. It is very, very effective and very, very, it's working good.
Yeah, that's great to hear, ma'am.
This is the example I gave you.
Yeah, that is
similarly in all the areas, we can train the people, train the nurses and they can use all those things, in critical care nursing, in critical care unit, we can have these type of sensors, so that they can identify immediate symptoms of patient and run to help
Yes,
them.
madam. Actually, our profession should, everybody should adopt this new environment and understand what it is, and try to implement so that we may succeed with this, I think. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the information.
Thank you so much, Mr. Welvin, and thank you, Qureshi ma'am, for enlightening us and giving examples. Another addition to it is that whenever we are taking ECG, the software itself has an artificial intelligence, because they have a repositories of different diagnoses. So based on the ECG waveform, machine would give you the output of it, like patient is having sinus bradycardia or bundle branch block. So I think that is also one way, as sir has mentioned, that something which can be immediately brought in without the use of internet. So that is a classic example of it, that output of data is already available offline. Sir, we have one more query also. Like personally, I feel something like that that we as in artificial gaining the momentum, and people are more dependent on artificial intelligence. So do you think somewhere it would influence the human cognitive ability? Our thinking ability would be dependent on machines more, and we will over the period of time somewhere in future, I feel so the cognitive ability or decision making ability would decrease in humans. What is your thought about it?
It will not. And I think of AI as, special effects in the movies. In movies, special effects are the one that don't exist. When you can't tell that it's special effect, those are the best special effects. I applied the same example of AI. When you don't realize that the AI is actually serving you, is the best AI. And if you don't know the AI is serving you, it's not going to affect your cognitive ability. I mean, even things like wearable devices. So there are smart glasses and VRs and whatnot who are coming out, right? They will never, I mean, I should say never, but at this point, there is nothing out there that will make you less smarter. If anything, like I said, think of AI as your assistant. They are always there to assist you. The more you can make it less visible, the more you can do to make it less visible for your patients, the better, right? They don't need to know, right? For them, it's like magic. So like someone said, anything that cannot be explained is magic, right? So I don't think you have to worry about AI taking away your jobs, AI replacing you, or AI somehow making you less smarter than
No,
you're
no,
very
no.
smart people, all of you.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you
I hope
so
I
much,
answered your
sir.
question.
Yes, you have rightly answered it. And there is another query, like India also coming up with the 5G influence in our nursing education, and we are using different platforms. But do you think we have any scope analysis which would incorporate
Your audio broke up. You'll have to
technologies in
repeat the
India?
question. You have to repeat the question. Your audio broke
So
up.
the question
Poor
was
audio.
that
So either that or type it in the chat, please, and I can answer it.
in chat, we have a query that as India is improving the internet facility and 5G influence can be seen in nursing education.
My apologies, but you broke up again towards the end. I did not hear the full question. I
Am I
hear the
audible?
Sorry,
5G
sir.
part and
Excuse me, sir. Sir, actually, madam got disconnected. I think the ma'am's question is, will 5G influence nursing care and nursing education in the coming years? If yes, then how much extent and what could be the scopes open for nurses incorporated with technologies in India?
5G is a great technology, and the way it will help you is by enabling the sensors and IoT devices. And, you know, so think of if you are in a hospital, if every patient bed has certain sensors that can give you their vitals, right? It doesn't have to go through hospital's internet. 5G actually will give you that capability. So when you think of 5G, think of how it will only improve how we are interconnect, how we connect to devices, how devices talk to one another. I mean, here in the United States, 5G is being heavily used today for connecting electric cars, right? I'm sure EVs are coming in India too. How do you think they talk to one another, right? They cannot operate without transmitting data to central servers. So the same paradigm is going to apply to AI. It's just a matter of 5G becoming more and more available, and as it becomes more available, it will also get cheaper. So you should expect to see these 5G devices implanted in all kind of devices, IoT devices and sensors and everywhere, and they're all sending data. So as I think one of the attendee earlier mentioned that we can't get the data. 5G will solve that problem for you. You'll be able to stream data in real time, 24/7. So my favorite example is, again, let's say you're the only nurse on the floor doing a shift, right? And you have 8 patients that you have to cover for. you will have a solution where all their data, all their vitals are coming to you in real time in a dashboard, and you will only need to look at the dashboard when it alerts you that there is a problem. Otherwise, you can be doing some other work. You don't need to do your rounds around the, you know, 8 patient beds every hour after hour after hour. You may go once in your shift, but when data is coming to you, it empowers you to make the right decisions in real time and very efficiently. And that's where 5G will change it for you. So it's going to make your life very, 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 I shouldn't say very easy, but it's going to equip you and empower you to do even better when it comes to patient care.
Thank you so much, sir. We have been doing so many online webinars, and I think this is the first one. We had so much of interaction, and this is the first time I'm seeing the participants coming up with so many queries. I feel your session only was so charismatic, and then everybody got so much of information about it. Rather, it was interesting as well, I would say. Thank you so much
That's
for
very kind
taking
of
out.
you to say. And happy to come back if you would like to talk more any specific topic. I'll be glad to come back and and have more discussions. I enjoy these things, and thank you again for the opportunity to come here and talk to you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for giving us so much comprehensive view of AI, which is a topic for everywhere it is going on. You go to the university, you go to the medical field, So this AI, but along with this AI, we should keep up our soft skill intact. Your compassion, your caring spirit, your touch, and your all the things you have to keep that and move forward. Thank you so much.
Agree 100%. Thank you everyone for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Over to you, Madam.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Thank you so much, everyone. And so I got this opportunity. I'm highly privileged to extend my vote of thanks for this webinar, and my special thanks to our renowned personality as well as our today's speaker, Mr. Ashish Kumar, regarding enlightening us regarding the importance of AI, as well as this AI is just an addition. It is not the replacement of ourselves, and it enlightening and enhancing this knowledge regarding it. And my heartfelt thanks to our patron, Dr. Suresh Khannaji, as well as our national president, Dr. Bijo, for continuous support, as well as our chapter president, Professor Jyoti Katwal, for leaving no stone unturned to reach our society to the new heights, and our NSS family for the effortless motivation. Today's dignitaries who have joined us nationally as well as internationally for sparing their precious time for this webinar and gracing this webinar. And it is my extension of heartfelt thanks to our participants also, without whom today's webinar could not be a success. Thank you, everyone. So I will now share the post-test link. I request every participant So I have shared the posters link and I request every participant to kindly attempt this posters link so that as the interaction also went well and afterwards we can end up this with the posters and the feedback. Thank you so much. I have shared the link again. Those who are not able to join from that link, kindly attempt it from here.
Participants, please note the content link has been shared by our expert. And thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And your certificates will be shared with you within 2 days. You have the email, and in case you do not receive within 2 days, do let us know. Thank you. Manjeet ma'am, I think we can wind up. It was only 7 questions, so they might have completed. Still, you can share the post-test link again so that they are able to complete it if someone has missed out.
Okay, ma'am, I'll share this link. Thank you so much, everyone. I think most of the participants, Madam Shaili Jiva. Madam, I have shared the posters link again. Kindly attempt this and do let us know if you are not able to.
So I'm ending the meeting. Thank you all of you for joining us. Have a pleasant day. And we look forward that all of you will be joining us again in future ventures as well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.